Welcome back. This is Ajaxx here. This is the second video in this tutorial. We're going to be talking about variables. So, as in any programming language, you can have variables, just like in math, where you had a variable to hold a number. For example, you had y, which equaled 22, right? So that was your placeholder in math. It has the same purpose as it did in math as it does in coding. So this placeholder will hold whatever data type or object that you want it to hold. In this case, we're going to be talking about data types, and let's get started. So let's say you wanted to print to the screen, Sarah has 5 apples, right? And then someone comes to you, okay, now Sarah has 10 apples. Instead of actually hard coding it, so this would be hard coding, right? Let's spell words correctly, right? System print. You can use print or println. Println means that there'll be a new line after. Print means that it will print literally right behind one another, okay? So here, Sarah has 5 apples. Right? And if you print this to the screen, Sarah's just gonna have 5 apples and that's it. Let's say someone comes to you and says, okay, Sarah needs to have 15 apples today. Tomorrow, maybe Sarah is gonna have 20 apples. So in order for you to hold this, you can either hold it in a string, because in this case, we're just using it as a string. But let's say later on down the line, they say, okay, now we're gonna make this into a math problem where you can add apples. Then you want to use the data type of integers. So one way that you can hold the apples, you can say int. That means for integer, so it has to be a whole number from the negative to the positive. Obviously, there's a cutoff for each data type, but for right now, we're just going to focus on the basics. So we're going to have A, which is going to hold the number of apples that she has, and we're going to put 5. Sorry. 5, right? So the letter A is holding the number 5, right? So let's put that in the sentence. So we're going to use this handy dandy thing called concatenation. So we can have, sorry, got my cursor in the way. So we can add the plus sign. Sorry. We can add the plus sign, put our variable, either whatever we decided to put it, the variable could be a word or it could be just a letter. So now what we'll print is Sarah has, let's put a space. Sarah has whatever A is holding, so right now 5 apples. So if we hit run, Sarah has 5 apples. So like I said, if someone says, okay, today we want Sarah to have 10 apples and I need you to change this. Instead of going back in your code and having to scroll and find out wherever Sarah had 5 apples, in this case, it's only 10 lines of code here. But let's say you had 1,000 lines of code and you had to go back and find it. This is why you have variables, so you can just change it. So now if we hit run, Sarah will have 10 apples. Okay, so that is one example of holding a variable. Another option, if you want to have decimals, we can use a double, and we can hold this as the letter B for today. So today, Sarah has 5.5 apples, right? I don't know who has 5.5 apples usually, but today Sarah does. So now you can change this letter here to whatever the name of your variable is, which in this case was the letter B. So Sarah now will have 5.5 apples. And there you go. You can also hold strings and a single character. String is as it goes, a string of text. So it can be a sentence. It could be as short as 1 character as well. You can actually hold 1 character where you only need to take in, or print out one character. But we will go through the other data types that you can use within Java and in code, because most code follow the same patterns. So thank you guys for watching. Once again, you have your main class, you have your main your main method, and you have your closing braces to your class. So you put the data type that you want, you give the variable a name. In this case, it's A. You use a single equal sign, and you put whatever integer in this case. For doubles, you need to put something that has a decimal. So you put the word double, a letter or a word to hold this variable, to hold this data type, equal sign, and your number that you wish to hold here. Again, guys, this is variables. Thank you guys for watching. Ajaxx